Namato Ratana Tayasa. May I pay homage to Triple Gem, the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. My respect goes to my parents and my teachers. Hello, good evening. So today is Sunday, the 12th of July, 2020. This is Achan Sujan from Varapunya Meditation Center, Aberdeen, Scotland. As usual, I'm here with you all. And thank you everyone for following and listening the talks. Thank you Margaret, thank you Falada, Colin, Karina, and everyone. So just an announcement that tonight again after the meditation I will be answering questions on relation to the meditation. So you're most welcome to post the questions for the evening after the meditation. And also I am thinking of rearranging this talk and chanting evenings since the this pandemic or lockdown been eased. So I'm just thinking of changing from 7 to 9 rather than 6 and 6:30 to 7:30 or 8 o'clock. So thinking of beginning with the chanting and meditation combination with the talk, end with the evening meditation. So I'm just thinking of about it. Probably end of this month will change, or maybe a couple of days later. I haven't decided, but it will continue as now until I can make sure that everyone is available, and those who are working or those who are finding right time to listen. So this is another beautiful Sunday in Scotland, in Aberdeen, and we had a lovely day. A few people visited, and a group of people after lunch having a yoga class outside in the sun, and some are still practicing meditation as well. So today is in a way quite hustling and bustling at the center in a mindful way of this social distance. Right. So it's been some times that we have been focusing on the core teachings of the Buddha on the base of the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutra, the sutta, the discourse that the Buddha gave for the first time on the Asala Puja, in which I have mentioned a couple of times, and again referring it that Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, although Buddha spoke for the first time, is the foundation ground for the whole entire Buddha's teachings. And again, I also said that as all the animals' footprints can accumulate or accommodate an elephant's footprint, so does the entire Buddha's teachings can be inside the Four Noble Truths, within this the Four Noble Truths. So that's why the entire Buddha's teachings that Buddha gave for 45 years, and so known as now compiled into the Tripitaka, basically, extension from the this first discourse. And on the basis of that, now we are studying in a different aspects of a different topics, and so far I have explained on the dukkha satcha, or the suffering part, in a different aspects, in a various ways, in a simple terms. And yesterday I again laid down the background of the second noble truth, which is the cause of suffering. And this cause of a suffering, I also mentioned that is the main root cause of a suffering. But here we have to remember that this main root cause of a suffering, so known as the tanha, or the craving, or the thirst, again is not a single cause, or the first cause, like in the Bible there is a genesis of the first thing is that God has created like that. But here the tanha, thirst or craving, although is the main root cause of a suffering, but it's not the one. This needs to be understood clearly. Otherwise, sometimes people may think that tanha is the main root cause of all. But this is more visible and more tangible object or the cause that we can link and we can see. And that is the reason why tanha became the main root cause of all sufferings that we face. And in this Dhammacakkappavattana Sutra, the first discourse, at the end of the explanation of these Four Noble Truths, at the end, Buddha said that Yang kinchi samudaya dhammang sabbantang nirodha dhammanti. Which means whatever is of the nature of arising, all that is of the nature of cessation. So whatever is nature of arising is all that nature of a cessation. And this fact we cannot deny. Whatever has arisen, it has to go. It has to cease. So that is the fact. And in that fact, when Venerable Kandanya heard the teachings of the Buddha, he was able to accomplish, understood, comprehended. And the Buddha simply said, now Kandanya has understood. Now Kandanya has understood. And that was a joy that Buddha had. Very moment when the first person understood his teachings. And remember, this Kandanya was the one who foreseen that he will be the Buddha. And yet he had a doubt when the Buddha was practicing meditation and he ate a food. And this Kandanya thought that now on he is not going to be enlightened. And later Buddha didn't give up his practice, continue his practice, and so he was enlightened. And then after the enlightenment, he went and taught to these 5 ascetics in Varanasi, Saranath. And the Venerable Kandanya, who predicted that the Buddha will become the enlightened, became the first to know the teachings of the Buddha. Now in this term of this tanha, as I have said, it's like the thirst never ending, wanting to have it again and again, wanting to consume again and again, wanting to have it again and again, never ending. This thirst. In the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutra, it explains what the second noble truth. It says, it is this thirst, which is craving and tanha, which produces re-existence and rebecoming. So in Pali, it is the word given is pono bhava. Pono bhava bhavika. Pono means again. Bhavika means existing or becoming. And which is bound up with passionate greed. And this is Nandi Raga Sahagata. Buddha used Nandi Raga Sahagata. Nandi means entertainment, bound with, entertaining. Raga means the lust, the crave. Sahagata means include. So that's why its translation is which is bound up with passionate greed. So constant having this greed and entertaining with that is also as a craving, and which finds a fresh delight now, here and now and there. So tatra binandini means enjoying in whichever situation you are in and delight in that later. And here in this particular word, there is one story comes that one of the monks, he was very good at meditation and practicing meditation, and somehow his life expectancy ends. And while he was meditating vipassana meditation, in his meditation he was so conscious and he was meditating, he passed away. And he was born, so-called simultaneous born. So that means it's like a waking up. So he was sleeping suppose he is sleeping and you wake up like that. So he died in a human world, but his consciousness was so aware and alert that when he was reborn in a celestial heaven, and he was still in a mood of a meditation. He was still in a mood of a meditation. And that moment, he didn't realize that he has been born as a celestial being. And later his fellow friends in the celestial world introduced him to look at his face and then realize that he is no more a monk. And gradually he felt very sad. I shouldn't have reborn in here. I should have been in the human world and I can be enlightened. And now look at me, I am reborn in this heaven now. And he was temporarily in a sad. But as he realized that he has born into the celestial world, gradually he was entertaining with the sense faculties, and gradually he was kind of bound by with this tanha. And that's same with us too. Like, there are plenty of people migrating from one place to another place, and one nation to another nation. But first initial few weeks or few months or a year, they will struggle to adjust or adapt the new society, a new culture, a new system. And that's why there is a so-called word called homesick. And this homesick is basically we are still unable to adapt the new culture, new norms in the new society. And over the period of time, and gradually we pick up. We gradually pick up and we gradually adapt and we adjust into this new society, a new community. And gradually this homesick becomes lesser and lesser and lesser. And finally, some people, or many people, in a majority probably, and hope, they take this new place into their own home, the new existence. So that is called tatra binandini. Finding a fresh delight in the new system, new culture, new community, new ways. And that's also part of the tanha too. And the reason behind that we entertain or delight in it simply because of a sensual pleasure. So entertaining our senses, the beautiful things, comfortable things, free from any violations, free from any conflicts, free from any danger. Yeah? And not only that, and as a result of that, we want to be in that situation which is safe, and which is comfortable, and where we can earn for a living without any trouble. So that's what bhavatanha, want to be. And there is a sense we have this comparison that we don't want to be other places where is less comfortable and less safe. And that's why this is become a cause of wanting to be, longing, a thirst, a craving. Okay. There are many examples in Dhammapada saying that this thirst, this craving is never will be fulfilled. That's why it's called Nati Tanha Samanadi. Okay? This craving is no equal to the river, the water in the river. Okay? And this cause being the main root for all the troubles, it doesn't mean that it has only one the Buddha has to introduce and a Buddha only know about it. In fact, we all know this in general term. Doesn't matter who, doesn't matter, everyone come across with it, and only matter is we do not understand in its true nature of it. It's like a Pasteur, a Louis Pasteur. Before him, we never have any medical understanding of this so-called microorganism or about the bacteria. That doesn't mean that before the Louis Pasteur there is no bacteria and there is no microorganism going on. And we all face it, but we didn't have a name for it, and we do not know how it is working and how it's developed. Since the Louis Pasteur found it, discovered this bacteria and this microorganism theory or the science and research, it has given a lot of contribution towards further findings. And with this microorganism is on the base of his findings, mind you, that even this coronavirus working on this becomes so comfortable. Same with the theory of gravity. The earth gravity theory that found by Newton. And it is not that nobody has seen this apple fall down from the tree. All the farmers, those who are farming on like this apples or any fruit business, they have seen it. Before I come to know about this Newton's theory, I have seen this apple fallings, pears fallings. We were farmer. We come across with these every year, every seasons, and yet we didn't have that sense of a thinking why it is. So Newton simply found the theory is gravity. And on this gravity, again, the science has developed so much to understand that how this whole universe works and how this universe is interacting in one another. Similarly, Galileo, he also found how to see the stars. The stars of the families, we understood on the basis of that. That doesn't mean that before Galileo, no one has seen the stars. No one is working with the stars. No. Galileo simply found a way to define, simply find a way to understand how the stars work. So that's why Buddha was simply one of the scientists like the Galileo, Newton, or Louis Pasteur. Or who knows, maybe this new scientists who is going to find the cure for the corona. So like that. And a Buddha simply found the cause of these troubles, these problems that we are going through. Like even Buddha said in one of the discourses that all the problems that we are going through, whether it is a small tiny bit in our homes, family problems, or national problem, ethical problem, racial problem, war, all are based on this craving, the thirst, domination, wanting to dominate, selfish desire, so-called selfish desire causes this. And this selfish desire drives to get more and more, the more craving comes. So selfish thirst needs to eliminate. And that's the reason why Buddha introduced this homelessness. Right? So being a monk is like the homelessness. We do not have our own property owned by ourselves. We simply live in a monastery. And it reminds me a story. We have a very short time now. It reminds me a story from this Majjhima Nikaya, this middle discourse, the sutta number. I think this third chapter, third section of the Majjhima Nikaya, there is one sutta called Rathapala Sutta. Yeah? So Rathapala, this client's man, this Brahmin Rathapala, was this son of the leading Brahmins in that time, an only son of this family, the great wealth they had. So one day and this is again a Kuru country, where the Buddha gave the Satipatthana Sutta discourse, Kuru country, which is now in New Delhi. So when Buddha was wandering around in the Kuru country that time, and he was giving a speech, and this Rathapala, the Brahmin, the layman, a boy or a man, went to listen the talk that Buddha was giving. And he understood that being a lay person, it is very difficult to comprehend the teachings of the Buddha. So he wanted to give up lay life and become a homelessness, or basically becoming a monk. So he approached to the Buddha saying, "My Lord, after having heard your teachings, I realized that living in a lay life, it's very difficult to practice and to accomplish the teachings. So I gather that if I become a homeless, simply become a monk, it's much helpful to enlighten or to attain the teachings. So I would like to become a monk." And the Buddha said, "Have you got the permission from your parents?" And he said, "No." Then Buddha said, "Go back and ask a permission from your parents." So off he went, paying respect to the Buddha. Off he went to the parents and said to the parents, father and mother, being in a lay person, a householder, it's very difficult to realize the Dhamma. So I prefer, I wish to, I desire to go on to be a monk. And his father and mother say, "No, you are only son, and we have got so much wealth. Rather than thinking of going to be homeless, why don't you enjoy your life?" if you become a monk, you are not going to have these luxury life. You will be living in a homelessness. You have to beg for the food and so on. So but Ratapala requested for a second and a third time. That the family, the parents, the father and the mother simply rejected, and in that he went on protesting, not eating. And he said, if I am not going to go, if you are not permitting me to be a monk, I will not eat until my death. So that's how, and gradually, his mother went back to speak with him, and he rejected silently. And then his parents went to invite his friends to convince to give up, but he maintained his thoughts. And then his friends told his parents, his mother and father, that if he become a monk, at least he's alive and one day you can see him again. So with that, the parents gave him a permission to be a monk. So he went on, became a monk and a practice, and he was in a Shavati. He realized the teachings and he became the enlightened. And after that he came back. So I'm just cutting into the short. He came back to the Kuru where his parents are. After he enlightenment, he wanted to see the parents. So on the first day when he came back, he was going for alms to collect the food, and his father was very angry to see a monk. Because of these monks, my only son has given up the life and then become a monk. So when his son coming to bake the food in front of him, he rather didn't realize his son. So rather than giving a food or a refusal, he simply shouted and abused. But Ratapala said nothing to his father, walked past, and he saw his slave was about to throw the old porridge. And he requested, sister, can I have that old porridge? And as she was pouring into the bowl, she realized, oh, this is my master's son. So she went back and reported, and that's how understood. And later he was invited to home, requesting him to leave the monkhood, and yet he didn't leave, and he went back to stay in a forest. And that forest belongs to the king Kauravya, King Kauravya of that Kuru, and visited. And he said that you have so much wealth, why you are giving up? And he simply said that there is no limit of wanting. So he gave a story that, king, you govern this Kuru country, and now you want, if there is other countries the weaker than you, do you want to conquer it? And he say, go on, and conquering never end. The king never ends conquering the new places again and again. And with that he said, that is, my king, your desire to acquire more never ends, and that is the reason we have to give up this desire, and only then we will be free from it. Okay, so that's why it's called life is incomplete. Life is simply unstable, and there is no protector. And it's simply, these are continuously going on and on and on because of this desire that we have, because of this craving that we have, and that we have to eliminate, that we have to overcome. So I end here for tonight, and we'll see you tomorrow on the same topic. We'll elaborate a little bit more to just give you an idea of this second noble truth. In a few minutes time we will have the chanting and guided meditation, so you're most welcome to join. Otherwise we'll see you tomorrow for the talk at 6:30. Until then, good night, and if you're following, see you soon. Thank you everyone. May the Buddha bless you.